a gentleman that was threatening to go to Section 8 housing with those properties. And so we decided that Section 8 housing was not going to be a very good place to, that was not going to be a very good place to have.
Part of what the lawsuit is, so stay away.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why don't I skip my every time I go somewhere, I'm going to go into this lawsuit, so I'm going to refrain from it. So, but the only other thing I might add, which I don't think is part of the lawsuit, and that is that we had long discussions about how we might take TIF funds, tax increment finance funds, which are, if you know, they're restricted funds. We just can't use them to pay the guys who do on the road crew. We can't use them for different things. We can only use them for certain things. But we can acquire property for them in our business district, and we chose to use those funds to acquire that property. Our thought process was that if we had the ability to assemble enough pieces to make it a meaningful project and lease that property back to a developer, we would generate enough money back to our general fund, which is,
well, once the road goes in.
Once the road goes in, which is unrestricted use of these funds. So for those of you who live in the township, you know that we have the lowest township property taxes in Hamilton County. We're the only township that hasn't had a levy on the ballot in over 12 years. We have comparable or better services in most of the communities around us. And this doesn't all just happen by chance. This happens because you have a board of trustees that's been focused on planning for the future. And so this was part of our plan for the future, so that we could put ourselves in a position that we didn't have to go back and ask for the residents for more money. I can tell you that it's no different than the joint economic development zones we put in Kenwood. There are 4 joint economic development zones. And prior to those being introduced by myself and Greg Bickford, we were facing a loss of 72.7% of our general fund revenue because of reductions in local government fund, the elimination of the estate tax, lower property values, and what was the tangible personal property tax reduction. So those 4, we were going to lose 72.7% of our general fund revenue. I don't know how many of you can live on 72.7% less than you generate today, but I can tell you this township couldn't have. And so that's why we introduced, Greg and I spent a lot of time on this. We introduced these 4 joint economic development zones, of which the township residents passed by 82.5%. So all of these things are, I want to tell you that these joint economic development zones today are, if I'm not mistaken, our EMS and fire levy, we are exceeding that today, aren't we? And we're supplementing the EMS and fire, we're supplementing with those joint economic development zones, the money that comes from those JEDs.
Sheriff's
and
contract too.
The Sheriff Department as well, and we're not asking the residents for any more money. So, contrary to what Mr. LaBarbera might say about our inability to manage your money, I can assure you that we run this place like a business. We run it like we run a tight ship here, and we run it like a business because we're always here to protect your tax. You're the taxpayer, and it's your money. And we've always done a very good job of doing that. I've been here 13 years, and we've always done a great job of doing that. So I'm just telling you that some of the stuff he says, he leaves some things out because it doesn't totally fit his narrative. The reality is, we've been working very hard on behalf of the residents of Sycamore Township, and we intend to continue to do that. So thanks.
Mr. Weidman, I want to address this because you said I was selective in leaving stuff out in this article that you wrote that will maybe be in the press. I pick it up from Section 8 housing, so we'll drop that part of it. It was also property that was consistent with planning for an access road at some point as property redeveloped to take the pressure off of the Montgomery Road, Kenwood Road intersection. We chose to purchase these apartments with TIF funds and raise them. The other properties contiguous with that land became available subsequent to acquiring the apartments and were also purchased with TIF funds and not general fund tax dollars. We're now working on developmental plans. We are now working on developmental plans for that property that we hope will include leasing the property to the developer instead of selling it and generating significant revenue back to the general fund for the next 99 years. I don't know what you're getting all upset about. I'm quoting exactly from what you have. Now, as far as accusing you of misusing money, I never said that. I don't think anybody out there heard that I said you misused money. I said the way the process is going. What I'm talking about is I want open communication, I want transparency. That's what I want. If you have something else that you're thinking of,